We thank God for everybody out there. We're just going to wait for you to come on in the room. We're waiting in the room, and yes, they're coming in. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. As the old folks used to say, where the presence of the Lord is, come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on
Come
in.
on in. Come on in. I shared it on my Facebook page as
Oh,
well.
great, 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 great. Awesome, 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 awesome. I'll give them a couple more minutes and we'll get started. How are you, Pastor Williams?
I'm good. How are you, Pastor Eric?
I'm very well. I'm
Good.
very well. Elder Ware, I've invited Pastor Williams to read your bio.
How are
Uh,
you, Mr. Robin?
Oh, okay. Oh, don't read the whole thing. I hope it's not long. I'm sorry if it is.
it's not too long. It's what
It's
people need
not
to
that
know.
bad. It's not that
It's what,
bad.
it's what people need to know. So I'm very impressed. Well, we'll get
Good.
started. We do have a few people in the room, and we'll get started with what we have. I thank God that all of you come back from an excellent presentation, excellent workshop in bridging the gap. Didn't you enjoy that? It was such a wonderful time together, a time of discussion. It was intriguing, it was thought provoking, and hopefully it would allow some of you to go back to your home churches and just make a change and boost the
Give
youth
this back.
and allow them to be part of the ministry.
Get back in.
Today, we have an awesome speaker, an awesome presenter by the name of Elder Robin Ware. And I thank you. How are you, Elder Ware?
Doing
This one
fantastic.
goes
Thank
down.
you so much for having me as your guest.
Great, great, great. And she has a wealth of knowledge. She's going to talk to us about digital footprints in the church, how technology can be used to enhance the health and growth of your church. And as I said in the last segment, it's kind of a segue into this one because uh, everything is digital now. Everything is digital now. In fact, it's been digital for quite a while. But
Okay.
because of the coronavirus, now it's kind
Loud.
of forced us to really tap into it.
Yes, absolutely.
And as you can see, a lot of us we are left behind, and we're trying to catch up. We're trying to catch up. But guess what? This is how the youth. This is how they communicate. So
Yes.
it's very vitally important that we know as pastors and leaders and how to utilize this. And if we don't know how to utilize it, appoint the youth. And right now, Elder Williams, will you give the bio for our great speaker today?
I sure would. It'd be my pleasure. Robin Ware is a church consultant providing marketing, event planning, and hospitality training for churches and organizations. A passionate and gifted speaker, she presents radical hospitality workshops all across the nation. In 2009, she became a certified business and life coach through the CAP Institute, founded by Valerie Burton. In 2013, she launched the Boss Academy, and she left her website so you can check it later. An online program that teaches entrepreneurs how to monetize their gifts and talents to build multiple income streams. She is the author of multiple ministry books and will release her newest hospitality book, Wow, Your Guests Winning Hospitality Strategies to Change the Culture of Your Church in 2019. She also hosts her own live events, including P3, Pray, Plan, and Prosper, a live mastermind retreat for entrepreneurs and the Event Planners Boot Camp, a one-day workshop where she teaches meeting and event planning skills. Robin is a member of Changing a Generation Full Gospel Baptist Church, where she has the pleasure to serve the vision of Bishop Paul S. and Pastor Deborah B. Morton. An ordained elder, she serves as the overseer of singles. She also assists with pulpit duties and manages the social media presence for Bishop Paul S. Martin. Robin.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. What an impressive resume. But
Wow.
one thing, Sister Robin, before I give it over to you, one thing that was most impressive about the resume, and that you are a servant. You are a servant. And you cannot be successful without serving in the body of Christ.
Right.
All of the secular accolades, they're wonderful, but I've had a chance to talk with you a couple times, and I'm never try to judge people, but this Bible teaches us to try the spirit to see is of God, and you do have a godly spirit, and to just do what you do in the body in the kingdom of God is awesome. So I thank you for the service that you provide to the body of Christ and to your home church. And I thank you for accepting this invitation. God bless you, Sister Robin.
Well, thank you so much, Pastor Eric. I am just elated that you would have me as your guest this afternoon for the Trinity Central West Church of the Living God Incorporated. So today, I am going to be teaching about technology in the church. So I'm going to share my screen, and let's see here. I shouldn't have, there we go. Any trouble with that? There we go. All righty. So I'm going to start out teaching about Facebook Live tips and tricks for churches. And before I even get started, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. And Elder Eric is going to track those questions and ask them of me, and I'll gladly respond. All right. So let's get started. A lot of us, of course, the church has left the building, and so we've all jumped on Facebook. So let me just give you some quick things that you can do on Facebook when you go live, whether it's Facebook, YouTube. These are some things to help you take what you're doing to the next level so that you operate in excellence. Number one, add a countdown clock. That's what he was referring to when we started this session. Instead of starting and waiting for people to come in the room, you start with a 5-minute countdown clock. That way, people can see, Facebook will notify them that you're live. And so that countdown clock will give them, a 5-minute warning, and they'll go ahead and log in. So that way, when your service starts, you've already got people in the room. Of course, add a title. I cannot tell you how many broadcasts I've watched, and all it says is live. You should know the pastor's title of the sermon, or maybe what you call that Sunday, but you need to add a title. Of course, add an intro. I love it when I see ministries have your marketing person, your social media person do a welcome. It can be a virtual welcome, of course, in the lobby, welcoming everybody to the ministry, to the broadcast, sharing announcements. I'll in fact give you some samples of some intros that I collected for you. Of course, add your flavor. No church has to do exactly what the next church does. It's yours. Do it your way. All right. So don't. A lot of people aren't comfortable about going live. Well, we should be past that stage now. We've been going live since March 15th. So here we are. It is August 14th. So by now you should have a rhythm. So add flavor. Of course, add questions. It's important that you allow people to engage. So when you're ministering, when you're online, pose some questions and then tell people to comment, to pose their questions, to give their feedback. And then hopefully you've got somebody that's in the comments that's managing that. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. And then, of course, even add a call to action, meaning when people are watching your broadcast, You want to guide them somewhere. You want to lead them, whether it's for salvation, whether it's for prayer, whether it's for just connection, whatever it is, you want to lead them somewhere. This is no more church as usual. We cannot turn to our right or to our left and touch our neighbor. No, we have to log into another page or click a link or text a number with an SMS code, but have some sort of call to action to let your audience know that you want to continue your touch. You know, I teach hospitality. He mentioned my new book, Wow Your Guest. You can see it here. I actually have it behind me. But in that book, I teach that it takes up to 7 touches for someone to feel connected. So it's the same thing, even virtually. So it's really important that people understand how they can stay connected and engage with you. All right. So let's keep going. Some of you may be saying, well, where can you get the countdown clock? Well, you can actually download it free from YouTube. So that is my wow tip. My very first wow tip is go to YouTube and do a search. You can see this one is called Electric 5-Minute Countdown. All right. The second thing that I want you to do with your call to action, you can ask people to check in. If they're watching on Facebook, tell them to go to the right side of the page and check in. You can ask them to share the broadcast. You can, of course, ask open-ended questions and then wait on responses. Now, I know it may be a little difficult to do that during your message, but that's why you should have someone in the comments that is your digital evangelist. Write that down. Digital evangelist, and they can manage and monitor the questions that are coming and engage with people in the comments. You, if you're the pastor or the one that's bringing the message, all you have to do is reference that. Remember, I asked you that question, so make sure you're down in the comments. We've got minister or elder or sister, brother, so-and-so in the comments assisting you. And then, of course, direct them to your call to action on Facebook, or to even join your Facebook group. I love to see pastors teach series. And when they're teaching their series, they should be episodic, meaning that there's a different episode of the series each week. So if you started with part 1, you know, we all just finished watching Greenleaf, right? It was episodic. So each episode that came up, we kept up with, because we were able, we'd been watching Greenleaf, so we knew what was going on, right? It's the same thing with the series. I want you to direct people maybe to a Facebook group that's focused on that series. So if the series is about, you know, deliverance or learning how to hear the voice of God, you've started a specific Facebook group that you lead them to, so that they can engage, ask questions, and maybe even download a PDF of the actual message. All right. And then to help your ministry really go global and be the global ministry that a lot of us say we are, is identify your social media mavericks. Who are your social media mavericks in your ministry? Well, they are the ones that are always online. They love social media. Now, they may not have a title, and that doesn't matter. It could be a lay person that just loves the ministry. They qualify to be your social media mavericks. Have them to post your graphics. Hopefully, you're making graphics each week, promoting your upcoming service. If you're using the same graphic each and every week to say that you have service at 11 a.m., it's time to take your game a little bit higher. You need a new, fresh graphic every single week. Put that in the comments for me. A new graphic every single week. Now, before you panic and say, what in the world is Robin talking about? It's really simple. You can go to canva.com and create that graphic. So they got lots of templates, or I can connect you to some graphic designers, but you need to make sure that what you're putting out there, that it's fresh. Remember that we're representing the kingdom, and the kingdom should have the best, and we should always operate in excellence. So we want to make sure that we are doing just that. Ask your social media mavericks to host a watch party. ask them to be a scribe. What's a scribe? Meaning someone that takes notes in the comments, and as well as be the amen section. You know, when we were, inside the four walls of church, there was that group that you could look at and you could count on them to help you get that message out. Well, these are going to be those same people online. They're going to encourage you. They are going to give you some amens, virtually, of course, but it's important that you've got them helping to guide what's happening online as far as support. And then this is kind of really next level, but add an email opt-in and provide a download of the sermon notes, maybe the announcements or whatever flyers that you've got promoting what's coming up. This gets your viewers on your email list. Listen, I also teach and I coach marketing, and I teach faith-based entrepreneurs, how to really monetize their online presence. And one of the things I teach them, and it works in church, is that it's a 3-step process for people to become connected to you. There's the knowing phase, the liking phase, and then the trusting phase. So people have to know you, KNOW, know you, like you, and then they trust you. Put that in the comments. Know, like, and trust. You have to walk people through each phase. You do not have the liberty to just say, oh, I know that they'll trust me and they're going to connect with our ministry. Nope. You have to walk them through those 3 phases. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to touch them on a regular basis. So, 7 touches. And one of the touches that you could do is to have that email opt-in. Let them put in their email address, and then they get an automatic email back that would have your sermon notes. And then maybe 2 days later, they would get another email from your ministry that would have the announcements or maybe a flyer promoting what's coming up. And then, of course, on Sunday morning or when you're doing your next live event, you can send them an email and say, hey, here's our fresh new graphic, right? It's promoting what you're about to do. But you would email them and say, here's a reminder that we're about to have another service. See how that works? See, I'm giving y'all a little 2-for-1 in this teaching. All right, let's keep going. And then know the difference of scheduling your broadcast or premiering your broadcast. I know a lot of you are not going live on Sunday morning from your pulpit. You are actually pre-recording it on, say, Thursday or Wednesday. And so when you're putting it in Facebook or YouTube, they give you options as to if you want to schedule your broadcast or premiere your broadcast. And real quick, if you schedule your broadcast, that just means at 11 a.m., your video appears, people can watch it, they can fast forward through it, and that's not what you want. You want to premiere it. And when you premiere the broadcast, that means they cannot fast forward and everybody is watching it together. At 11 a.m. when it starts, everybody watches from the beginning. If they log on at 11:20, then they watch wherever you're at that 11:20 mark. So it's key that you know the difference there. And then there's even more bonuses that I could give you about Facebook groups, retargeting ads, having your Facebook campus pastor or host. And let me just stop right there. A lot of you do have people in the comments, but what are they doing exactly? They need to understand that they literally are your campus pastor, because Facebook or wherever you're streaming to has become your new campus. So, of course, I don't have enough time to go deep into all of these great tips that I have for Facebook, but your girl's got you covered. I have, a book that I put together called The Ultimate Facebook Manual for Churches. It is over 100 pages. That's right, 100 pages. Inside, here's a screenshot of the table of contents. I talk about Facebook and the gift it is. And let me tell you this, I wrote this book like 2 years ago. I didn't just write this because of COVID. I have been beating the drum on the importance of technology in church for probably 10 or 11 years. And so this book was something that God gave me. And so when COVID hit, I was able to immediately to share it with ministry. So this is something you definitely want. It's an amazing tool that you can use with your ministry team. I talk about Facebook groups, how to read your insights. It's really important that you understand your analytics and that you look at them. I know a lot of ministries are, thinking inside the four walls of church, and they care about how many people are watching their broadcast live. Well, that's not really your true number. Your analytics will tell you when people are watching your broadcast. That's what matters, because when you want to start running ads and you want to decide to go live, or maybe you have an event, you're able to see when is the best time to do that. Even what markets are supporting your ministry. And then, of course, Facebook events and then Facebook ads. I talk about that in the book. But there's a real juicy part in the book. I talk about what your on-air host should do, what they should say. I have an actual script as to how they should greet, how they should engage, how they should even offer salvation. All of that is in this book. So as you can see, again, can't go through the whole book. I did give you some of the tips, a little insight, but text my last name to 22828. Simple as that. Pull out your smartphone, text my last name, which is Ware, to the number 22828. Follow the prompts. When you follow the prompts, it's going to ask you for your email address. You put that in, and you're going to get an email back with the link so that you can get this book. Or you can just go straight to my website, thewareagency.com/store, and that's where you can purchase the book as well. All right. So, good. I was cheating, you guys. I was trying to look on Facebook. Let me see if we got any questions. Okay, good. I see that we've got some scribes on there. Thank you guys so much. All right. So now let me jump into technology in the church. Okay. Somebody just hit me up and said, put the link back. So let me do that, and I'll get a little bit of water here. All right. So technology in the church. Again, I'm Robin Ware, church consultant, and I also assist churches with marketing as well as social media. I truly miss being out on the road with you guys, but thank God for technology that I'm able to connect with you all and be a blessing. As they said in my introduction, I am so honored to serve Bishop Paul S. Morton. You see the arrow there on the screen? That's me. We are operating church with just 10 people. We are the Divine Nine. Of course, Bishop makes number 10. But we are going on site on Tuesdays and Sundays to produce our live service. So you can do it where you pre-record or where you're live. But whatever you do, what I'm about to teach you is going to help you take that to the next level. Listen, it's August. We are probably still going to be sitting here having the same conversation this same way this time next year. So it's important that you take what you do to the next level. So here we go, my top 10. I want you to upgrade your production. That alone, I just could pause. Because some of the things I've been seeing online, I do not like. Listen, I know that coronavirus, it caught us off guard and we just had to jump in there and do what we had to do. But now you can take a step back and you can focus on your production. So figure out your upload speed. When you purchase internet for your home, they always talk about your download speed. You know, how fast can you download a video? How fast can you download games? But what really matters when you're doing a production from your home, when you're going live, is your upload speed. All right. So your upload speed should be at least 25 megabytes per second. You see in this example, I did a speed test. It was 16.91, should be at least 25. So that's why a lot of times when you're going live, it's buffering. So you got to increase your upload speed. So how do you know what your upload speed? It's real simple. From your smart device or your computer, just go to speedtest.net. Yep, simple as that. Wherever you're at, go to speedtest.net and it will tell you what your upload speed is. All right. Make sure that you have an external mic as well as lights. I said LED lights. They don't have to be LED, but you need additional lights. Particularly if you're a little brown sugar like I am, you want to make sure that you've got some lights so that it gives you proper presentation online. Of course, check your background. Hopefully you guys like my little background. I typically would be in my office and my production area, but I'm having some work done, so I had to be in another area of my home. But I still wanted to make sure that I had a really good background. So check your background. I've been seeing some, questionable backgrounds, and just because what you see, that's not what the audience sees. They actually see a wider view of what's behind you. So go live and then go look at it. Do it, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, whenever you think people aren't on. But I want you to go that far so that you can make sure what you present, it represents your ministry and, of course, the kingdom in excellence. Elevate your camera. You can see from the picture that I have there. Elevate your computer. You see, I put mine on a box because you want to make sure that you are eye level with your device. If not, if your computer is just flat on your desk, then you're doing what we call nose casting, meaning people are looking up your nose, and that's not what you want to do. So put some, whatever it is you have around, and put your computer on that. Of course, use countdown clocks. We've already talked about that. Create a virtual lobby. I talked about that. Your on-air host, make sure you've got somebody that's in the comments hosting. Make sure you've got somebody whose assignment it is to scribe, to write down your points, to give links, whatever it is. That's why even though we're not meeting inside the four walls of church, we still need our Saturday production meetings. Some churches may have them on Thursday, but you need a production meeting so that you have a strategy as to what's going to happen on Sunday. I know a lot of pastors don't always have their message by Sunday, but if you are pre-recording on Thursday, then you have your production meeting on Friday because you're able to share your message and you're able to share your points. So we know that Instagram, of course, does not allow you to live stream, but if you share your message, the person can, like we do at my church, I actually sit there in the audience and I stream from my smart device using Instagram. And I'm able to type in the points because I already have them. All right. So keep that in mind. And then, of course, run B-roll or show slides before you go live. All right. And here's some examples. I love this. I was watching this church and they had their countdown clock. It was only at 2 minutes because at the 5-minute mark, they came on and they started showing this B-roll. So this one says, share this experience, click watch, party, or share the link. See, they've done a call to action in this graphic. Then they said, see, at the 140 mark, follow us on social media. There's the name of the church and their social media links. At 121, they have another graphic that said subscribe on YouTube, and it gives the name of the church or name of the channel. And then at 102, they show the ways to give. And then at 40 seconds, they show their broadcasting schedule. And at 24 seconds, they have a graphic that says, tell us your prayer requests. And then there you go. At 8 seconds, it says coming up next. And it teaches, it tells you what the title of the next session. All right. So do the same thing for your ministry. I'm telling you, it takes it to the next level. Of course, number 9 is you got to look at Restreaming. You probably jumped right on Facebook, which is fine, but there are other social networks that has an audience for you. So you need to figure out YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, even on your website. Listen, you still need a website, people. Yes, I'll talk about that. That's a whole nother teaching, but you still need a website. So make sure your website is responsive, ready, and that your domain name is memorable. So when you tell people, watch us online, don't just buy the domain name that is your church name. If you're, Church of the Living God, New York, New York.org. No. I want you to be a little bit more creative so that you have a domain name that's easy to remember. All right. So with Restreaming, there are different apps out there. Even my agency, we offer Restreaming services. You can check that out as well over on my website. But typically, with a lot of the apps, you can only restream to one other network. Well, we've got options where you can restream to all of them, with the exception of Instagram, all right? Because Instagram doesn't want to let us be great just yet, so they will not allow us to live stream, but it's coming, I promise you. All right, number 8 is use live production tools, meaning when you air your broadcast, even if you're airing it on Facebook versus just loading the video and hitting play, Facebook has some tools that you can add lower thirds, that you can add slides, all of that during the live production. Of course, you can go to Lightstream, Switcher Studio, Ecamm, and of course, what we're even using now, StreamYard. These are live production tools. So take the time, get with your team, and figure out what works, all right? And then number 7, offer live rooms during your broadcast. What do you mean live rooms, Robin? Simple. When people partner with your ministry or they join and they want to become new members, well, beyond telling them to send an email somewhere or to text something, you can live room. And it can be maybe in Zoom, or it could be a Facebook group. Whatever, that's why you got to get that Facebook book, because I talk you through how to do all of that. But you need rooms for live prayer lines. And of course, your youth, they need rooms, maybe your women's ministry, whatever it is, but offer live rooms. Number 6, post-production. Once you record your message, figure out creatively how to make it sizzle and pop. So you can go to Fiverr.com. They can take your video, add lower thirds, or pull pieces out of it so that you can have samples that you can put on Instagram, 30-second clips. Maybe they need to add B-roll. You can get somebody to do that for you if you don't have a live production team, using Fiverr.com, as well as Upwork.com. You could do it yourself using iMovie or even ScreenFlow. So those are just a few, but there's also some apps that I will share with you that you can do some really great editing things with. Here we go. Fonto is one of my favorites. Of course, Canva.com, I talked about that just a moment ago. There's an actual desktop version, but you can download the app as well. WordSwag is a great app. Linktree is a great app. NoCrop is a great app. And PicStitch. Let me just say this about NoCrop. If you create a graphic and it was not created specifically for Instagram, maybe it's a large graphic you wanted to put on Facebook, then use NoCrop so that you can reduce the graphic and it fits, so that it's not all stretched out of proportion on Instagram. And PicStitch is one of my favorites. If you want to have a video and put it on Instagram to kind of jazz it up a little bit, PicStitch will allow you to create a header graphic and then put the video in the middle and then another video at the bottom. Another graphic at the bottom. The graphic at the bottom might be, let's say you're promoting an upcoming service or an event. The bottom graphic might be the date, the time, or even the website for that event. So the top graphic would be the name of the event. The middle part would be the actual video clip, maybe that B-roll that you pulled from your sermon. A lot of pastors, they come on campus one day a week to do nothing but shoot B-roll or behind the scenes footage or, just spots. That's what we, call it in the industry. So the spot, the graphic, the video, that would be created. That's how you could put it on Instagram or even Facebook, and it looks really nice. So a graphic, video, and graphic. And Pick Stitch is where you do that. Of course, you can pay a high-end production company and they can create that for you. But your girl is full of a lot of great tips that cost you my favorite, which is Zero.com. All right? Type that in the comments. All right? Zero.com. All right? Number 4. Let's talk about giving. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. I'm looking at somebody's comment. Okay, I'll come back to that. Number 4, talking about giving apps. Make sure that you are well versed in how all of these apps work. It just amazes me when I watch someone's broadcast and they just put up a graphic and say give, right? For instance, this is a screenshot from our mother church, and I love this because they didn't just put up a graphic and say give and just put the logo of the actual giving app. Nope. They went as far as to, if you look at this, it says Givelify, and then it gives the name of the church. Cash App, it gives their Cash App name, and it says, include full name and category of the memo. And then if you want to give a love gift, it says it right there. Let me just give you guys a tip. When you are setting up your broadcast, do not type in the title, the name of the sermon, the date and time, and then the Cash App for the pastor if you want to give. Don't do that. Do it during the actual sermon when it's time for giving. All right. So I want to show you this. One ways I'm actually, but for Cash App, they actually have an option where you can do a QR code. Now, before you all panic and say, who uses QR codes? It doesn't work like a traditional QR code. Actually, what it does, if you take your camera, even right now, live during this presentation, the camera on your phone, not a scanning app, but just the camera on your phone, and you hold it over this QR code, it is going to automatically open your Cash App to my page. And if you want to test it and be a blessing to a girl, then go ahead, right? But think about it. For your church, you would put this on the screen as a part of your production, and people can just hold their camera on their smartphone over this graphic, and it opens Cash App immediately to where you want it to go. And so when you do that, it gives you the second graphic where it says send to $Robin and Ware Speaks, and they can just type in what they want to give. All right. Now, this is Linktree. I mentioned that a moment ago. It's a great way if you've got multiple apps for people to give. You can look and see, but the way Linktree works, when you click it, you put it in the bio of your social media app. So this is my actual church, Changing a Generation, ATL. It says Linktree/Changing a Gen, ATL. When you click that link, because right now, Instagram only gives you one live link. When you click that Linktree link, it opens and it gives you this long list. It gives you a list of whatever links you've placed in Linktree. So as you can see, we've got products as well as our giving. So literally while someone is streaming our service, make it easy for people to be a blessing to you. They can click right on that Linktree link and it takes them where they need to go. I think I deserve like a clap for that. Yep, in the comments. Let's see if I can get some hand claps, because that should be a blessing. Both of those tips should be a blessing. All right. So let me see. Yep, people are saying, I love it. I love it. All right. Good stuff, you guys. Let's keep going. This is actually what you see when you click on the Givelify link. So, all right. And then number 3, we're almost done. Thank you guys for your patience. Number 3 is incorporate some familiarity to your broadcast. So instead of just going live and, all they see is you or, one other person, have a virtual choir. It's not difficult at all. In fact, on my YouTube channel, I've got a teaching about how you can set up your own virtual choir. But do a virtual choir, even virtual dancers, feature a rebroadcast. I know a few ministries that rebroadcast their messages on Saturday. It's just a great way to get people ready for Sunday. Make sure you edit it if you're going to do that, though, so that it makes sense to the people watching it on Saturday. And then incorporate a Zoom phone line for seniors. Zoom offers video capabilities, but it also gives you phone lines. So a person may not want to log onto a computer and watch service, particularly if there are seniors and they're not familiar with technology or comfortable enough with it. You can just give them one of the Zoom phone numbers and they can listen to the service. Put their phone on speakerphone and just be blessed. All right. And then, of course, do some behind the scenes preparation for your virtual worship services. People aren't able to go into the four walls of church and they miss it. And I get it. So shoot some behind the scenes footage, put it out there midweek and say, remember this is so-and-so's seat, or maybe do a cutout picture of that particular member and put it in their seat and say, we're still saving, your seat for you, whenever we come back. But just do some fun things so that the ministry gets a behind the scenes look at what you all are doing to produce your live worship experience. All right. And then number 2, I know it's church, but listen, we're still able to monetize what we're doing. So you should monetize your channels. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. With YouTube, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Facebook just came out a way that you can monetize it. This is from one of my accounts, $207 for monetizing that page. So it is possible. All right. And then my number 1, we did 10. Woo, we got here, y'all. My number 1 tip is for onboarding e-members. Hopefully you're not saying, if you'd like to join this church when we come back. I want you to extend the invitation for people to partner with the ministry and immediately give them a way to connect and, of course, engage. So they can do that via text, a Zoom room, or Facebook group, require an email or an email opt-in. Remember, I told you the way to get my book was to text my last name to that short code. You could do the same thing in your ministry. If you want to join this church, text the word join to this particular code, and then you have a series of autoresponder messages already set up so that that person feels immediately connected. Because how many touches are we trying to extend? Put that in the comments. How many touches are we trying to extend? All right. And then think about even formal digital platforms like Thinkific or Teachable. They'll cost you some money. They're not the most inexpensive way to do it, but they do allow you to wow people. And that's what this is about. We are the kingdom. We're supposed to be setting the standards. So when people join your ministry, they shouldn't feel like, well, this is a church that's just online because they really have an option. No, this is a church that's online and they're prepared. They are making sure that though this experience is virtual, it's still powerful. All right. So think about that. Your ministry should still be growing. As a matter of fact, I have clients whose ministries have gained some amazing new members. They've more than, let's see, one of my ministries, they were telling me that their giving has doubled. Think about that. Well, you got to make it easy for people to partner with you. Now, it's not just a matter of they go live and, here's our giving information and people give. There's a strategy as to how and why people give and how to make it easy for people to connect. And a lot of that's in that Facebook book. But I'm just trying to help you see that it takes strategy. It takes a team. I want you to get your creatives together, somebody that understands social media, somebody that understands technology, somebody that understands public relations, someone that understands even hospitality. All of those people need to make up your creative team, even an events person. You know, because what happens when you sit down, all you do is bring the view from your lens. But when they sit down, they bring the view from their respective lenses. And so now you've got some amazing views. And with having all of those different views, you can put together an amazing picture. All right. So I want to help you understand, how, the importance of having a team in doing that. And then just real quick, if you want to connect with me, go to my website. That's probably the easiest way to do that. Simple, thewareagency.com/consult. All right. So thewareagency.com/consult. And that is how you can set up a free consultation. I'll gladly, talk you through some of these things. That's how you can pull them off, or where I need to point you, what direction, so that you can pull these things off. All right. So let me go back to my StreamYard here. All right, good. So let's see what questions we have, you guys. We have been on for 45 minutes. Thank you. I see Belinda in the comments saying thank you. Excellent tips. Rita has a question. She says, what is the best way to check the volume before you go live? That is a great question. It's really not that difficult. Depending on your mic, I've got a couple here. When you plug them in, you want to go to your settings, and then you can, of course, talk into your mic and then look at the levels. All right. Of course, have your audio person, if you've got access to an audio person, but have them help you. And I actually have, let me grab this mic. I got a lot of mics, you guys. Why? Because it's important that wherever I'm at in my home, wherever I broadcast from, phone. This one, you guys, is really long. I ordered a cable, a cord that's 20 feet. So if I am standing, 8 feet back from the camera because I want a broader picture, I'm still mic'd up. If you use like this mic, it's really short. See? It's really short. And so it would be pulling like this when it's clipped on my blouse. So that's why you need to make sure that you've got some options. So this is one of my that I use particularly as well when I'm doing behind the scenes and I want to pick up audio. I'm able to plant the mic in one area and then shoot from another space. And then they can hear the sound, the choir rehearsing, or I should say praise team rehearsing, or whatever's going on. All right. So I hope that helped you, Rita. Let's see. Thank you, Elder Anthony Mark Graham says, I bought the book and I love the script. Woohoo! Yay. Thank you so much for your support. Yes, we love StreamYard. Awesome. All right. Rita Davis asks, there are occasions when the presenter's sound is muffled and they are unaware, yet they continue to share. Can you suggest some preventative ways? Well, of course, hopefully you're able to put in the chat box that their sound is muffled. If you're connected to them, if they're on Facebook, of course, put it in the comments. If you know them, like my team does, they will send me a text to make sure that I'm together. I will tell you this, that I use Switcher Studio when I do my live production. And so Switcher Studio will tell me. That's why I'm telling you guys, we got to take our live worship experiences, our broadcast to the next level. When you use a production suite, they have those type of measures built in. So you find out before you go live. All right. Here we go. Let's see what else. Good. Thank you. Cindy Barber said this is good. Victor Ellis said, love it. Thank you so much. Elder Anthony Mark Graham says, I love that link tree option. He's going to try that. Good. Thank you guys for my claps. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. 7 touches. Let's see. Belinda Knox, you were the first one to put 7 touches in here. So I am going to bless you with a copy of my new book, Wow Your Guests, Winning Hospitality Strategies to Change the Culture of Your Church. So make sure you go in my inbox on Facebook and give me your address so that I can bless you with a copy of this book. All right. See, I told y'all, your girl is trying to be a blessing. Let's see here. Shirley Bean Williams says, virtual but powerful. Good. Thank you, Shantae. Okay, good. Cindy says, can I discuss lighting? Yes. So I have, I actually have 2 lights on me now. And because I'm not down in my actual production, look, my production suite, I'm so excited, you guys. I am, well, I'm getting ready to tell on myself, but I have been building out a new space. I'm so super excited about it. But I have more lights down there. But since I'm in this temporary area, I have 2 LED stand-up panels. And it's really important that you add additional lighting, as I shared, particularly when you're, brown and sweet like I am. You want to make sure that you've got lights to illuminate your image. And so your overhead lighting is not enough, even if you think it is. And always make sure that the light is shining on your face. You don't need it coming from behind you, and you don't need it coming necessarily overhead. If you've got extra lighting, of course, the overhead or the side lights will help take care of shadows. But I'm not really worried about shadows too much. I'm more concerned about you having these, either they're LED or they can just be box lights, whatever you want. In fact, if you go to talk about some of the tools that you use in going live, and I talk about the lights, and I have a link to the actual lights that I use. All right, so I hope that helped. Shantae said, great presentation. Thank you so much. All right. I think I got all the questions, you guys. Good. Yep, L'Oreal said deputize the people. Absolutely. Good. Thank you, Selena. Great tips. Thank you, Stephanie, Dion, all my folks watching. I thank you guys so much. This has been a lot of fun. Good. Somebody said, I love your spirit. That's just me. So thank you guys so much. Again, I want to remind you, you can, of course, get the book. Go over to my website, thewareagency.com/store. Question about giving, Cash App on the overlay. You can, yes. So what I suggest is that you take your giving graphic and you make it a lower third. What is a lower third? Like where you see the Trinity logo in this presentation, that's a lower third. Or it could be running along the ticker tape. This little bottom thing here on StreamYard that's saying my name and the title of this presentation, you could run your giving there. Or you can do a total cutaway and just show a full-size graphic. But make sure that your team that is managing the comments, that they've got literally saved in their comments the exact verbiage that you want posted online as it relates to your giving. So they just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Because you want to make sure that the people in the comments, they understand the person that's monitoring your live, that they're the campus pastor. They are your representative. They're your digital evangelist. And so whatever they're saying, it's representing your ministry, you as the pastor, and then of course the kingdom. So we want to make sure that they don't have any typos, that the links work, and that it's, again, easy for people to be a blessing. All right? Good stuff. You're welcome, sir. Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you, Stephanie. So make sure you guys text my last name, Ware, to the number 22828. 22828, and follow the prompts. And then you'll get, you actually get access to some other information, some good stuff. So, but you'll get the link for sure on how to purchase that book through a digital download. There you go.
That presentation was awesome. Thank you so very much. Oh my goodness. And you said that you were brown and you needed the lights, so you can see I really need some lights. I tell you, I got natural lights. I'm in a sunroom. I got just about every window open and it's still casting a shadow.
That's right.
So I've learned so much. I've learned so much. And I do have a couple of questions. Can you please elaborate on sermon content?
Yes. So because, people are virtual, it's really important. Now you're making me talk a little bit about what's in my Facebook book, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. It's important that you prep your audience for the experience. We have to go from what's expected in church to creating an experience in church. All right. And so you have to prep them for what is about to happen. And so in order to engage them, sermon prep, it's key. No longer are you able, again, to tell people touch their neighbor, all that kind of stuff. You have to shift, and you have to, like I said, give people direction on going to a website or Facebook group so that they can download something or have your lower thirds ready. I know a lot of people take notes and they take screenshots. So you want to, as early as possible, your team the notes, the point to what you're going to be preaching. Pretty much pastors are good about giving the scriptures so that the scriptures are placed on the screen. But you also want to do your points or your call to action. And just like television, you get about 22 minutes and that's it. You cannot go live virtually and think you're going to hold somebody's attention preaching a sermon for 45 minutes, 60 minutes. Now the entire service is 60 minutes. And so if you've got 17 to 20 minutes, you got to hit it and then quit it. All right. So be very strategic about how best to do that. And as I said, 7 touches, you've got other opportunities during the week to send out more content about that message.
Oh, my people are going to love you. Pastor, you got to shut your sermon down to 22 minutes.
Don't tell me you are trying to preach to people for 45 minutes to an hour.
No, I do about 35 minutes, but I'm going to have to cut it down even more. I'm going to have to cut it down more.
Just think about it. When we watch television, a 30-minute show is actually 28 minutes, 30 seconds is the broadcast, of which 22 minutes is the actual content. The other time is allotted for commercials because they've done studies and they know that our attention span on one thing is about 22 minutes.
That's awesome.
Figure out how to take that message and make it 2 weeks.
Yeah, or A, B, and C if I need it, huh?
Right, A, B, and C if you have to. Yes.
Well, I thank you so much. You just touched on it. I just have one more question. I know you're a very busy person, but one more question. Can you just elaborate again about the spirit of excellence? And let me go back and just touch on something. When I talked about sermon content, also what's a good idea is to preach the gospel. And this is not the time to be negative or to fuss at people, as you know that they do in our culture. Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, somebody told me this when I was preparing to get my minister's license, and that is to let the word do the work. God doesn't need our help in that area. Just let the word do the work. As long as we preach the word, teach the word, and live the word, that's That's how people learn. And so you're right. If you've only got 22 minutes to keep somebody's attention, fussing and hollering at them, they're going to turn off and go to somebody else's stream. Because you have to remember, you know, when we were inside the four walls of church, you had a captivated audience for that hour, and some of y'all 2 hours, right? I'd have never joined your church, but I know my assistant is going, Robin, but literally, like, I just can't sit there for 2 hours. Right. So now you no longer have a captivated audience. We can click on the next Facebook. You know, we can go to the next page. And so, and I was telling somebody that I probably watch 5 services a week. And so, you know, Sunday morning, of course, I'm committed to my own church, but Sunday night I watch somebody, Monday night I watch somebody. So your audience, I mean, your church may be comfortable with that style that you do, but now you got the world watching and they're not going to understand. So you have to shift and adapt so that you can truly be a messenger that God can use. And then as far as excellence is so key, that everything we do, that we do it with a spirit of excellence. And one of the things that I tell my pastors that I consult with is that you have to measure. You have to have strategies in place to measure, because a lot of times your vision, though your team may say, okay, we understand it and we get it, if you don't measure their ability to implement it, it'll stick for a week. And then they'll go back to their ways, because they'll say, well, you know, they don't really watch. You know, he or she, pastor, you know, they don't really watch. They don't really know. You got to remember, what gets measured is what gets done. And so that production meeting that I spoke of prior to your service, that's how you measure. You go through what's expected. And then after, on Monday, you have a staff meeting or a post-production, and you talk about everything that happened. Were the lower good, the virtual choir, did it sound good? You know, let me give y'all a little tip. These virtual choirs, awesome. They will wow your crowd, but you really only need the audio from about 5 of your best singers. Just audio from 5 of your best singers. Now you can show 20, 30 different choir members in the virtual choir, but the audio has to be on point, and just pick those 5. Even though you let the 30 people turn in their audio, you just use that 5. And then, you know, why do you do that? Oh, you know, everybody should get to participate. They can't. Think about it. When we're in church, in the choir, you don't hear 30 individual voices. It's all together medley. And then what we do is we put 5 people on mics so that we make sure the best voices are heard. So that should translate into virtual space as well. You know, make sure your sermon notes, any digital downloads, that they are set up beautifully. Again, put them in Canva. If you're going to text out anything, make sure your texting message that it's, you know, doesn't have any typos, and always make sure that what you're trying to convey makes sense. How do you do that? Give it to somebody that doesn't even know what you're talking about and ask them to tell you what you're talking about. And if they can't interpret it, then you need to rewrite it. I hope that helped. Yep, Rita says balance is so necessary when we're aiming to reach the church and the world digitally. Absolutely. Good.
Thank you so much, Sister Robin. And for those of you that are out there in Facebook and YouTube, you got that one for free. You got that one for free. We did not charge a registration or anything like that, but I'm telling you, the content of these workshops, the registration easily could have been $100 and it would have been worth it. I've gone through many of conferences, and I tell you, the information that these people are providing, it's paramount. Sister Robin did not ask me to ask this, but I will say, if you have a need for her services, touch bases with her. She does all type of consulting. Even if you have a business that you want to start, she will consult that. Now, we'll tell you this, and we have not discussed that. We always have the mentality, well, hook a brother up, hook a sister up. Well, it's about sowing into the kingdom and doing what's right. Yeah, she's going to cut you a fair deal, and she did not tell me to say any of that. But like I said, I've already tried her spirit, and her spirit is of God. Thank you, Sister Robin.
Thank you so much. This has been an awesome opportunity. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I always thank God that he continues to place me on the hearts and minds of his people. God bless you.
God bless you, and we will talk to you the next time.
All
See you later, Facebook family. We will be back on tonight at 7 p.m. with Tasha Page Lockhart, and she's going to bless our souls, and she's going to bring forth a word. Is she a preacher? No, but she does have a word for the body of Christ that she wants to share. And we want to be on time because, here at Trinity Central West, Bishop does not believe in starting anything late at all. And he's prompt us. And you probably will be hearing from our bishop as well. After Tasha Page, we will have a special room for our young people to go in. We're still trying to decide will it be a small Facebook room or a Zoom room, just to hear Tasha's testimony in detail. She's gone through so much, and God has brought her through so much, and the information she has, I'm quite sure, will bless your young people. So stay tuned for that, and we will send the links out for that. But until 7 p.m. tonight, be blessed, and God be with you. Take care. See you the next time.